Neill Blomkamps has to be one of my favourite directors. Coming to the mainstream with his completely unsuspecting gem with District 9 that he created when he was in his late 20s, quickly gaining attention in Hollywood, he brought to the screen Elysium, which was not quite received the same, but praised for its groundbreaking visuals and gritty dystopian landscapes. Chappie was the movie that ultimately saw him leave the Hollywood scene, as it was his most poorly reviewed and divisive film. For the last 6 years or so, he's been working on self-funded projects, which I highly recommend you check out on YouTube, Oats Studio. Given his strong visual storytelling with deeper philosophical meaning behind his screenplays, which are brought to giant blockbusters, hearing that he had taken the global pandemic as an opportunity to make a lower budget horror film called Demonic, I was all in. Seeing the trailer, I was highly intrigued, but I hate to say that after watching it, I did not get anywhere near my expectations from a Blomkamp film. Demonic for me was a movie that the concept of the film outweighed the executions. Trying to mix demonic possession with virtual reality, the story was definitely going to be a unique one. To put simply, you have Carly, the main character, who is called in to see her mum who is in a coma, which the center she is at has put her mind into a virtual reality. They need to get some information from the mum, so they inject Carly's mind into the VR, where the events within said virtual reality occur leads you to find out the mum was actually possessed by a demon, and now has latched onto Carly in the outside world. There is much more to dive into, but I don't want to ruin it for you. The movie's premise works, but as I said, the execution was off. For example, the only way the story really differs from another possession movie is the virtual reality. My issue with the film lies in the fact that they had two really strong ideas but lack substance in both. If they're going to do a VR demon possession, then perhaps you should just do the whole movie in that landscape. The options are quite limitless when you've got a demon inside of a machine. There's no reason why you couldn't turn it into a twisted Jacob's Ladder type experience. Outside in the real world, they had the demon chasing after Carly, which led to some pretty horrific scenes, which were quite spine-chilling, but the movie didn't allow enough time to explore either side of the possession. In the film, you find out why they are using the specific technology and how it's used to gain information about someone who's possessed, but it robs you of some great exploration into the deeper meanings within the lore of the film. Instead of having a slow burn and reveal, it's just handed to you. I don't want to sound off too harshly about this film, because by no means was it a bad one. There were things in the movie that were great. You have an adequate cast of actors. It was a really great atmospheric feeling for a horror movie. The set design was great. It definitely has some of the feel of other Blomkamp movies, containing body horror and spectacular creature design. There are definitely those scenes that make you want to look away from the screen. Listening to the director explain the technology on how he created this movie does show an abundance of ambition, and it leads me to believe this was more of an experimental film. Using a technology called volumetric capture, he created this beautiful world that reminds me of a video game. I will always admire when a director tries to leave their comfort zone and do something unlike their previous work. My biggest issue with the film is I just wanted to like it more than I did. This movie leaves you with more questions than it does answers, and it starts off too slow and finishes off too quickly. On a scale of 0 to 90, I'm going to give it about a 45-degree thumbs up. Definitely worth the watch and breaking the diet, having a beer, and a bucket of popcorn.